You don't need $20,000, a flashy badge, or a leader bike that wants to rip your arms off just to have fun on two wheels. In fact, some of the most thrilling motorcycles you can buy today are naked, Japanese, and sitting pretty under $10,000. Now you might be thinking I'm going to talk about low-end bikes with nothing good to offer, but that's a huge mistake. These bikes are powerful, amazing machines that offer a lot more than you can imagine. I've dug deep, fact-checked the specs, and added a healthy dose of rider opinion, including my own, to bring you the 10 best Japanese naked motorcycles under $10,000. Let's dive in. Taking the 10th spot on our list is the Honda CB300R. This motorcycle has the presence of something much more expensive, but never shouts about it. The CB300R isn't a bike you buy because you're chasing top speed or horsepower stats. It's the one you buy because you just want to ride. The 286cc single-cylinder engine puts out a very respectable 31 horsepower. And that might not sound like much on paper, but it moves with a kind of lightweight fluidity that makes city riding feel like parkour. You're not wrestling the bike, you're dancing with it. One thing I really like is the fact that Honda priced this one smartly too. It slides in at $5,000, which is way under our $10K cap. But don't let that fool you into thinking it's some bargain bin beater. It's got inverted Showa forks, full LED lighting, and styling lifted straight from the Neo Sports Cafe playbook. Sleek, tight, minimal, but not boring. Honestly, if your idea of a good day involves carving through traffic like it's an obstacle course and parking in front of a cafe where someone's guaranteed to ask, "Wait, that's a 300?" The CB300R is calling your name. Coming in at number 9 is the Yamaha MT-03. There's this awkward space between learner bikes and serious machines. That's where the MT-03 sits at. Yamaha built this bike around a 321cc parallel twin that pushes out around 42 horsepower. And let me tell you, this engine has manners. It doesn't freak out in low RPMs. But if you twist that throttle, it's more than happy to show off a little. You'll hear people say it's the most fun you can have under 45 horsepower. And they're not wrong. And look, this thing only costs $5,000 brand new. And what really sells the MT-03 is how it looks. It's got that same menacing transformer face as its bigger MT siblings. Wide bars, muscular tank, and just enough aggression in the bodywork to make you look faster than you are, which is a win in my book. If you're the kind of rider who wants a bike that's forgiving on Monday and feisty on Saturday, the MT-03 will meet you right in the middle. And unlike your last relationship, it won't confuse the hell out of you. At number 8 is the Suzuki SV650. If motorcycles had a Hall of Fame for bikes that just get it right, the Suzuki SV650 would already be up there with a crown and a sash. Riders treat this thing like the band they loved before they got famous. Everyone swears they discovered it first. So what makes it so special? One word: balance. That 645cc V-twin is the soul of this bike. It kicks out a smooth 75-ish horsepower and makes the kind of torque that's usable everywhere. You want to commute? Done. Hit some back roads? Absolutely. Take it to the track just to mess around. Believe it or not, it holds its own there too. Suzuki's been making the SV650 in some form or another since the late 90s. And this newest version, which still costs around $7,400, keeps all the charm without messing with the magic. Steel trellis frame, clean looks, and enough personality to keep you smiling even on the worst commute. Ask around and you'll find more than a few seasoned riders who sold their SV, bought something more powerful, then quietly came back a year later saying, "Yeah, I missed it." Because at the end of the day, the SV650 isn't trying to prove anything. It just works, always has, probably always will. At number 7, we have the Kawasaki Z650. I've always said the Z650 is like that friend who's good at everything but somehow avoids becoming annoying. It's not flashy, it's not trying to dominate your Instagram feed, but every time you ride it, you're reminded how damn good it is at being a motorcycle. We're talking about a 649cc parallel twin engine that makes a very usable 67 horsepower. And I do mean usable. This thing isn't peaky or temperamental. Power delivery is smooth, predictable, and right where you want it, whether you're stuck in traffic or leaning into a mountain switchback. Plus, Kawasaki packaged the Z650 really well. At $7,500, you're getting a steel trellis frame that keeps the weight down, updated TFT dash with Bluetooth, LED lighting all around, and styling that still carries that aggressive Z DNA. It's sharp without trying too hard. Frankly, it's the kind of bike you could keep forever. You won't outgrow it unless you just want more power, and even then, you'll still want to keep it in your garage. Coming in at number 6 is the Yamaha MT-07. Let me put it this way. The MT-07 didn't just enter the market when it launched, it disrupted it. It reminded everyone that you didn't need 150 horsepower or a complicated electronic suite to have a stupidly good time on two wheels. The heart of this beast is a 689 cubic centimeter CP2 parallel twin that makes around 75 horsepower and 50 pound-feet of torque. Doesn't sound wild until you twist that throttle and realize it pulls like a mule in every gear. That 270-degree crank gives it this lumpy, character-rich exhaust note that makes the bike feel alive, like it's reacting to your mood. At $8,200, it's priced to tempt both new riders and veterans alike. And it's light, like 400 pounds wet light, which means it handles like a dream in urban traffic and feels like a supermoto in tight corners. If you've never ridden an MT-07, you might not get the hype, but take one for a spin and you'll understand instantly. There's a reason it's one of the most beloved naked bikes of the past decade. Taking our 5th spot is the Suzuki GSX-S750. I'll be honest, the GSX-S750 doesn't always get the spotlight it deserves, and I think that's a shame. Because when it comes to pure bang for your buck performance, this thing hits hard. Tucked under its sharp, aggressive bodywork is a 749cc inline 4 that traces its lineage straight back to the legendary GSX-R 750. It's detuned slightly for the street, sure, but it still cranks out a solid 113 horsepower. And it doesn't mind being revved. In fact, it lives for it. At $8,500, you're getting what feels like a full-on sport bike disguised as a naked. That's not an exaggeration. It has the rush, the scream, and the top-end pull that twins and triples just can't match. But it's wrapped in a chassis that's more comfortable for daily riding, with upright ergonomics that won't murder your back. And while Suzuki's tech game here isn't bleeding edge, you do get multi-level traction control, adjustable suspension, and a bike that feels stable even when you're pushing it. If I had to describe the GSX-S750 in one sentence, it's the sport bike you can actually live with. Loud when you want it to be, quiet when you need it to be, and always ready to throw down if the road ahead opens up. At number 4, we have the Suzuki GSX-8S. Every once in a while, a bike shows up that feels like it's been tuned by someone who actually rides every day. And that's exactly what Suzuki nailed with the GSX-8S. Now this is a fresh platform. Suzuki tossed out the old playbook and built a brand new 776 cubic centimeter parallel twin engine with a 270-degree crank. And the result is a bike that rumbles like a V-twin but revs like something spicier. With 82 horsepower on tap, it's got more than enough muscle to carve canyons or smoke the average commuter ride without ever feeling like it's straining. At $8,800, you're getting a seriously modern naked bike with sharp lines, a compact LED headlight that looks like it belongs in Blade Runner, and a dash loaded with features, ride modes, traction control, even a bi-directional quick shifter. Yes, a stock quick shifter on a sub 9K bike. Welcome to 2025. Whether you're a returning rider or someone trading up from a smaller twin, the GSX-8S feels like it was made for that middle ground sweet spot. Not too much, never too little. Now we're moving up to our top 3, and sitting at the 3rd spot is the Kawasaki Z900. The Z900 is the kind of bike that makes you stop mid-scroll and go, wait, it costs how much? Because for $9,800, you're getting a 948 cubic centimeter inline 4 with 113 horsepower and styling that looks like it wants to punch you in the throat. And I mean that in the nicest way. There's something about Kawasaki's Z lineup. It always looks angry, but the Z900 backs that attitude up with real performance. This isn't a hyperactive, twitchy sport bike. It's smooth, muscular, and perfectly content chilling in 4th gear around town or screaming its way past 10,000 RPM on the back roads. And here's where it really earns its stripes. You get ride modes, traction control, a slipper clutch, and a full-color TFT dash, all wrapped in a chassis that feels incredibly well-balanced for something this powerful. I've ridden plenty of leader-class nakeds, and most of them feel like overkill in the real world. The Z900 never does. Kawasaki managed to pull off something tricky here. It feels like a full-size street fighter, but doesn't demand the same physical or financial commitment. If you're looking for the perfect do-it-all naked with some extra edge, this might be the last bike you ever need. Coming in at number 2, we have the Suzuki GSX-S1000. If the Z900 is like a street brawler with a slick haircut, the Suzuki GSX-S1000 is the guy who shows up in jeans and a hoodie, then casually bench presses a truck. This bike doesn't care about your expectations. It just shows up and shreds. Let's get this straight. This is a 999cc inline 4, derived from the legendary K5 GSX-R 1000 engine, and it makes 143 horsepower. That's sport bike power in a chassis that's way more comfortable and built for the real world. I've always respected Suzuki for this. They don't just throw performance at you, they give it to you in a way that makes sense. And the price? Somehow still just $9,999. You heard that right. You're getting fully adjustable KYB suspension, a ride-by-wire throttle, 5 traction control levels, and a power curve that hits hard from 3,000 RPM and doesn't quit. It pulls from low revs like it's mad at the road and screams at the top like a banshee. There's a reason this bike is showing up more and more at group rides and Sunday meetups. It gives you everything you want from a leader bike. The grunt, the top end, the sound, without asking you to sacrifice comfort or drop a small fortune. It's the kind of machine that makes you feel like a faster, better version of yourself. And that's probably why everyone who owns one sounds just a little smug when you ask them what they ride. At the top of this list is a bike that should cost way above 10 grand, but somehow doesn't. The iconic Yamaha MT-09. If I had to describe the Yamaha MT-09 in one word, it would be mind-blowing. This bike didn't just raise the bar when it came out, it tore the bar off the wall and threw it into a back alley. It's raw, loud, unfiltered fun. And even after all these years and iterations, it still feels like the most exciting bike you can buy without needing a personal banker to sign off on the purchase. At the heart of it all is an 847cc inline triple engine that makes 117 horsepower. But numbers don't really tell the story here. It's the way that engine behaves. The torque is thick and immediate. The mid-range punches hard, and the top end screams like a banshee. It's like a sport bike, and a dirt bike had a chaotic, wonderful child. And somehow, it still only costs $9,000. The MT-09 comes with a full electronics package, multiple ride modes, lean-sensitive traction control, a 6-axis IMU, and a quick shifter that works both up and down. You're getting high-end tech in a bike that's still under the magical 10K ceiling. And the design? It's polarizing, yeah. People either love it or hate it. The alien-looking LED headlight, the futuristic lines, it's unapologetically different. But if you're the kind of rider who doesn't want to blend in, the MT-09 doesn't either. Bottom line, this is the naked bike under 10K. It's wild without being reckless, powerful without being punishing, and it's the kind of machine that makes you laugh inside your helmet. Every single ride. Now I know you have your opinions on each one of these bikes, so make sure you share them with me in the comments. Also, tell me if I got the rankings right or if you think there's another bike that should be on this list. Leave a comment if you found our helpful video, or hit that subscribe button if you don't want to miss our upcoming videos on bikes. Until next time, keep riding!